Yeah, man.
Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda in the fridge. This is what I thought was funny. Cheers.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Got orange cream?
Yep.
Yo, really?
Yeah, orange vanilla, same flavor. I'll tell you what, we're in different states, but we're on the same wavelength already, even before we started recording. As soon as you got on the Zoom, when I saw that thing in your hand, I was like, that's really fucking funny.
Yeah, man. All about that shit. Oh, seltzers.
Yeah, I know. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
What would 10 years ago us say to ourselves if they saw us with these orange vanilla seltzers?
I haven't the faintest. No clue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it'd probably be like yucky or something.
Yeah, yucky. That's probably a good word to use. So, for everyone out there that does not know my guest, I am sitting here today with my friend, Nikki Nailbomb. Make some noise for the internet. Everyone's really happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're here. It's good to see you. How have you been? It's been a couple years.
Yes, true. Been good. Eating a lot of food. And then shit popped off and we had to go downtown and tell some cops to kneel down.
Yeah.
And I guess they did at first, but then they're still down there. They got the riot gear on and everything. I set a couple of cars on fire. This is in Trenton.
Yeah. It is May 31st today at the time that we're recording this, to give people some frame of reference. Yesterday we had a really big protest here in Pittsburgh, and today's been kind of quiet, but my girlfriend was just telling me that I think there's going to be something else tomorrow as well. Not too sure what's going on, but it was pretty rough here. Rubber bullets and tear gas and all here last night. So yeah, it's not good, but it is good, but not good. There's a lot of nuance, but you know what I mean? Like fuck. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like sometimes when I think about these situations, I just get like this like mental paralysis because I don't know like how to think or feel. Like I know how I feel. I'm like, what the fuck? But like trying to like verbalize it in any sort of a way, I just feel like a bag of mush just because I can't believe that it's like real.
Yeah.
It's fucking exhausting. So at least for now, they haven't taken our art from us. How's art been treating you?
Art's good. Art's very good. Music's good. I'm always trying to learn, what things so I could determine my path. And it's like in 2020, like the plot just keeps thickening.
It's
crazy. I mean, yeah, but art wise, I've been trying to organize these shows on Wednesdays, get musicians a little more familiar with going live.
Yeah. We definitely got to talk about that. The International Musicians of Quarantine Origins Guild. Yeah.
You smoke a lot of weed, you just say stuff.
No doubt.
I love naming shit that is hard for people to pronounce. I had a festival last year. It got canceled this year because of COVID, but I had a festival last year named after a layer in the earth, the asthenosphere. The layer of like convection lava. So I had Asthena's Fest, and listening to people try to say it. It was a three-day festival in 3 different venues that I work with in Trenton, and I had 80 acts, and it was all 3 days, and everybody had these like bracelets that paid for the whole thing. You could pay per show, but like you get the wristband for the whole thing, and it was really fun to just like, you know, do something like that here, because I'll play festivals with my projects from time to time, and I'm like, well, this is fucking cool. Why don't we do it like this? So yeah, I'm always trying to look at what people are doing and see like maybe there's another way we could do it, not to like step on toes, but just to like broaden the you know, broaden the knowledge on doing stuff and coming together. I'm kind of fascinated by people, and I love music, so I guess I'm a people person, so I like having people around, and I think people are powerful if organized, also powerful if not organized, but it was cool to do stuff like that. And that's I was asked to play a couple of live shows by my friend Grace Karam up in Montreal and Carmel Liberty in Detroit, and they did live shows in a different way than we were doing it. And I was like, oh, I want to try like another way so we could all come together and see what works well, because I just, you know, want to help all musicians around in this really, you know, strange time.
No doubt. Yeah, it's been awesome. You actually asked me to perform, and that's how we kind of got back into some form of communicating after it's been a couple years again, this International Musicians of Quarantine Origins Guild. You're doing these weekly live stream shows via Facebook. I actually have the Facebook page pulled up on the screen right now. You can't see it, but people will see it when they watch this.
Hell yeah.
And so this is, you're hosting these live shows on Facebook where people basically log in and do a quick little 10-15 minute set, and then somebody else comes on in another 5-10 minutes, and you can just hang out weekly and watch artists from all across the country, maybe the world to some extent. I'm not too sure how far you've reached out with guests on this, but it's been cool. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think that it's great to see people that are using their brain, the goop in their skull part, to be productive in these insanely difficult times. For somebody such as yourself who is used to playing all of these shows and used to organizing events, I'm sure that whenever all of this started happening, there was probably a looming anxiety of like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
It was weird. You should definitely pull up your video, because your video was so fucking good. It got me so amped up, and I think your fans will love it.
Yeah.
Oh man, just all together. You got your shit together. I mean, seeing you live is like so fucking awesome. But it was great to see you doing your thing with like all the gear.
Yeah.
And I like seeing people in their element, doing their thing. And you're man. I mean, and all the videos of that, honestly, all the videos are fucking good, but that shit got me amped up. I loved it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's you lucked out in a weird way, just because with everything that's going on, I've like brought everything home, and I'm like working on all of these different projects. So I just had all my light stuff set up because I've been programming it anyways, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna be in here, I may as well turn the motherfuckers on.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Oh man, with the visuals on the computer, I loved it.
Thanks.
I loved it. Yeah, and another prerogative, aside with getting people, more familiar with the technology, with Facebook or whatever, is to link people up. There are people, in a couple of different countries that played. I'm still trying to get more. Some people are just not used to playing live because they're like a metal band or something.
Yeah.
But people are starting, tuning in, and the videos are there in the library, so anyone can just like go through and see them. Yo,
real quick, just so you know, my metal band practices on Wednesdays. So if you have an open spot in the next few weeks, and if you want a metal band, let me know. We'll do it. I didn't even think about that until just now. I was like, fuck, that would be a blast.
Great. Okay. Done.
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about that later. Less me, more you.
I will text you after this.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
The time.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm honored. What's your metal band?
Greywalker.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's melodic death metal. Lots of yelling and fast stuff. It's like
melodic death metal.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And actually, it's the Evan who plays guitar in Sex and the New Violence. He plays guitar in that too. So we're in both bands together.
Oh my god, I do metal too. I fucking love metal. Oh my god. That's
hell yeah.
awesome.
Fuck yeah. So
great.
Let's dig into you a little bit here. You know, you are an artist, a musician, a promoter. You bear a lot of responsibility, a lot of creative responsibility, personal responsibility for these events and working with all of these people. And you've probably been doing it for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm 33.
Why are you still doing it? Why keep dealing with this bullshit? I ask myself all the time. I'm 30. I'm turning 35 this year, so you know you're only a couple footsteps behind me, and I'm just like, you know, why am I doing this? And it's like, because I fucking love it. That's pretty much it. I don't know what your answer would be.
I do love it. Yeah, I just want to keep creating, and you know, yeah, just do my best. I'm sorry, I'm hearing like fucking wheel, like driving by. I think it's all right. I think it's okay.
I hope so. How far, like, are you like, do you like live in the city close to where everything's happening, or are you a little outside of it?
I'm pretty close.
Okay.
I'm technically in the city.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you know, in walking bike ride distance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did set some cop cars on fire. From what I saw last. I'm sure it's still going down right now. I know there was a curfew in Trenton at 9, so you know, we'll see what happens. But you know, I hope these fucking cops start to get the picture, because I don't know if they do, but
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people outside of them that need to figure it out too. There's so many layers to it. It's this fucking lasagna of fucked up bullshit. There's so much, but yeah, that's definitely an important part. But can't forget they have bosses, and those bosses have bosses, and it's where does it go? You know, it's rough. I feel like, you know, if this was you know, I'm not to like put some bullshit analogy like, oh, life is a game of chess or something corny like that, but it's like, you know, we really are focusing a lot of energy on like pawns, basically, like, you know, mindless sort of just drones of a bigger thing that but I don't know, I'm not smart enough to really articulate these things. It's just stuff that goes on in my head, you know. But they they cause a lot of shit though. No shit.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, if it was a simple thing, it'd be solved. You know, people get it, just not everybody gets it. And, you know, it's tough to stop a corrupt person. Like, even if it's, you know, 1 out of 10, you know, roid rage cops, you know, like the other, you know, 9 are scared to deal with the 1.
Oh,
and
totally.
it's stupid, but I mean, you know, they should all quit or whatever.
It's like, again, like, you know, this is like, it's just, you know, power corrupts, as you've said, and, you know, power can also be like incredibly contagious, you know, like if you can't beat them, join them sort of thing. And it's just like, you know, these people were either super scared and don't say anything, or they get bit by the bug of power and they just fucking fall in line. And it's like, you know, we're only human, and, you know, we're very flawed in a lot of the ways that we act, in terms of just like, again, I'm not smart enough to have this conversation. My brain's just always like, ugh.
No, I hear you. I mean, you know, we're white, so there's that too. You know, there's only so much we, you know. Totally.
You know, it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know like a whole lot about your background and where you grew up, but like I grew up in a pretty fucked up neighborhood. So it's just like, you know, I've been seeing, wild shit my whole life. And I'm not saying like, oh, like, you know, it's always been like this, get over it. It's just like, it's interesting, I think, now to see how many people are talking about this stuff, because like I've had people in my life talking about this shit since I was a kid, you know, like my parents talking about this stuff.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
And I think the thing that's really cool now is that I think I don't know if people like in power realize that like everybody has like 4K cameras in their pocket now, and you can't with like instant access to like spread information so fast. It's not like it was in the 50s and 60s where like you can get away with all of this crazy shit and nobody fucking knows about it. The information spreads so fast now, and that's a hard thing to fight. But in some ways they are trying to take down social media in some other different ways right now, currently trying to, but that's a whole nother can of worms again. Right. You know, it all goes up to the top.
Yeah. And speaking of the top, fucking Anonymous just put all that shit out on Trump, like him and Epstein fucking raping teenagers.
I haven't seen it. I haven't. That has not come across my plate yet. When did this happen?
Just today.
Okay.
That I saw Anonymous put a thing that him and Epstein had been indicted or something. They got off or whatever, but there were people that came forward like, yeah, I was one of these 13-year-olds that was like raped multiple times. Jesus by Christ. These two people, Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And they would like throw these weird teenager model balls for them. And then, yeah, just like purchasing children.
Jesus Christ.
And this shit, you know, they got papers of this shit. Twitter keeps trying to delete it. So when you get a chance, I'm sure you'll find that.
Yeah. I mean, it could be fucking scrubbed by the time I fucking get to do anything. I had a fucking video that I did this week, like straight up just shadow banned on Facebook, and I wasn't even fucking talking about anything remotely political or controversial. So like I'm really curious to see where I feel like the past 3 minutes probably just completely ditched this episode in the gutter, but I don't give a shit. You know, it's people will still hear it that want to hear it.
Yeah, that's freaky.
It's so weird, like, because like they have everything set up now where they have this feature where it's like we can auto generate the voice like in your video to text. Us talking, there will automatically be a file when I upload this video that translates all of our talking to text, and then in that text there are keywords, and if there's certain keywords and certain things being said, your video isn't deleted, but nobody's gonna see it. It just gets kicked out of the algorithm.
Son of a bitch.
Not cool. It ain't cool. It's rough.
Cool. Apparently also Anonymous shut down the Minneapolis Police Department website. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why they emerged and did like a couple of things today.
I'm not sure. Again, I've been doing podcast stuff all day. I've been kind of in my own little bubble talking to some people and editing episodes, so I didn't like look at the internet at all. It's kind of contradictory, you know, somebody that records podcasts and shares information on the internet. I try to stay away from it, but we're right now, like, first of all, with everything that was going on with COVID, it was like, well, I got to know what's happening. And now with all of the protests and stuff, it's like, now I got to know what's happening. So I got to spend more time on the internet, which is already a pretty negative place at times for like really vapid reasons. Now there's a good reason, but it's exhausting. It's nice to see, you know, my timeline full of fucking people that are just fed up. And, you know, I enjoy seeing the anger to some extent, but it's also like frightening to another extent. Luckily, fortunately, there aren't too many like weirdos on the opposite side that I know of that are in my bubble. Those people are definitely out there, but at least I feel confident in my personal friend group that I've seemed to have curated over my life, where I don't have to see anything like that, you know.
Yeah, and so many different people out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We're all what are they? What are you know? We're all like we're all snowflakes. We're all unique, but that term's even ruined now. Can't even do that anymore.
You can't really see it. It's a
Okay,
snowflake.
I could see it. So, you know, rewinding a bit, you know, let's get just like the Cliff's Notes, the Nikki Nailbomb Cliff's Notes. So, you know, what came first in terms of, you know, molding yourself as like this artist? We'll use the term artist, you know, like what was the first footstep in your artistic journey? That's the corny question I'm going to ask you.
My family got a piano. My dad's always played piano. Like he always had a keyboard, but he was like a pianist, you know, like basically. So he got a piano, and then when I was 7, we started the piano lessons. And then I was like, also my parents owned this bar called City Gardens, and there was like a lot of punk bands there. There's also a lot of controversy because the fucking promoter that was working there is a child molester, and my parents don't want anything to do with him. And that guy tries to claim, you know, whatever.
Okay.
That guy claim like, oh, he's the one who starts punk rock. And it's like, no, pedophilia is not punk rock. But anyway, it was 1,000-person capacity, and
wow.
They had like the Ramones and shit there, and all kinds of bands. So I got to see bands play from a real early age.
That'll do it.
And yeah, like seeing like an all-girl band. This one band, the Frigs, really did it. The girl comes out of the bathroom. She's wearing like a little red dress and like red Barbie high heels and leopard tights, and she gets up on stage and puts on a guitar and they start sound checking, and it's like oh, there's all the rest of the girls. And me and my like best friend were there because we were 12, and that's, you know, we're just there with my parents because, you know, no babysitter or whatever.
Sure.
So we're just like, you know, right at the stage, we're like, you know, two of a couple people in the whole place because it was way early, and they just rocked, and we were just like, this is so fucking cool. So then, like, I've always had like punk rock in my heart, and then I would always get into punk rock stuff, and then I've had friends that I even still live with, my roommate who you could see his art around me, Billy MF Brown. He took me to a punk show actually in the bar, the house that we lived above, but that was years and years ago. So I always had punk rock with me, but then simultaneously I was taking cello lessons and doing the whole classical orchestra thing. So I did cello for a really long time. I met some stoners, and they saw me playing cello once with string quartet, and they were like, you should play bass in our band. And I was like, you know, a teenager, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. Okay, yes.
Hell yeah.
So I did that, and then I was like, oh, you know, like, you know, I'm some, you know, 90s kid or whatever. You know, No Doubt is a thing. System of a Down is a thing. And I liked both of them so much. So my dad got me a guitar. I think he got me a bass too. And then I started a ska band in high school called Hoodwink. And so those first two bands were like my first two bands, like Tonight We're Ravenna and Hoodwink. But before that, it was like all orchestra and piano recitals, pit orchestra. I still play cello. I'm not great. Seriously, not good. I'm much better at guitar now. I switched to guitar. I really liked that. I played keyboard in a band for a while, Karma Bat. That's like where the circus punk kind of started.
Sure.
For me, then I got into ska.
I mean, I think that, if you're a curious mind, you're gonna end up digesting all kinds of music and culture from all over the map, regardless of where you start. Curiosity was it's like a sponge, especially when it comes to music and art. Yeah. I do want to say that I think, talking about No Doubt and System of a Band, I probably couldn't imagine a more perfect band than somebody that could perfectly marry like Tragic Kingdom era No Doubt with like early System of a Down. That would be the best fucking band ever.
Right? I've been chasing that dragon for a long time.
Fuck yeah.
Actually, the band that I was in for 9 years, we just you can't really do something forever, but Molly Rhythm, we just put out this album, and it was me and another girl that were singing harmonies, like dual leads. So we tried to do a lot of that. We all love System of a Down and No Doubt. So like that's kind of, I'm not embarrassed about, saying that's like, what I was listening to and what I still like.
Fuck no. That kind of stuff. No, you should never be embarrassed by anything that gives you joy.
No.
Seriously, I'm a firm believer in that. I don't give a fuck if it's Garth Brooks. If like it makes you happy, listen to that shit. We may not be homies on like a deep level, but like I want you to be happy,
Yeah, just keep that Garth Brooks to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, he's one hell of an entertainer, I'll tell you that, regardless of what kind of music you listen to, that guy can.
I don't know enough about him.
That motherfucker can captivate an audience. It is, he's a showman. So there's a, as somebody that respects the performing arts, not that I'm about to say, I guess I am putting Garth Brooks and performing arts in the same conversation right now. That is what's happening. I think, he's, incredibly powerful performer. He just,
Can you grab me a phone charger? Sorry.
It's all good. He just caters to a demographic of people that I don't really hang out with. I don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah.
But whatever. And so you're playing cello and you end up in punk bands and things like that. I'm curious about, in your early days in playing cello and doing all of that stuff, were you like the punk kid playing cello, or did you look like normal and then you eventually like started to look more punk, or were you just always kind of like a little weirdo?
I cut my hair off in 8th grade. So I guess the punk thing. Oh wow, that's a great length charger cable. Ah, perfect. Thank you. I've always been into. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
I was the punk kid in orchestra, definitely. There were maybe 1 or 2 more. I definitely recruited a lot in orchestra. I picked up the saxophone also around this time. Like I kind of hyper focused on a lot of different things in high school because I was still a person with energy. Mm-hmm. I picked up saxophone. I was actually co-marching band captain.
Wow.
As well. I started playing bass in marching band, but I got tired of carrying the amp to the football field.
Gotcha.
The field. And I did it a bunch of times, but I was like, my dad's got this saxophone laying around. He doesn't know how to play it. He just has it. I'll learn it. So I learned it. Actually, saxophone's one of my favorite instruments to play. To this day, I'm probably better at that than cello, much. And I spent so much less time playing it, which is, I don't know. It's just like an easy instrument. If someone wants to get into, music and they want to play a horn, saxophone's really great. Picked up the trumpet around that time. I'm not as good at trumpet, but like I know how it works. I was experimenting a lot with a lot of different instruments. I still do. My grandpa just passed away not too long ago. Rest in peace. But he was an accordion player, and he ripped. And now, for some reason, I have like 4 accordions, and I started learning accordion. And that shit is great. It is just, it's like driving stick and reading Braille blind. It's so much to take in. It's
sure,
crazy.
yeah. Anytime
yeah.
I've actually looked at an accordion, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
You know, it looks like a slinky and a typewriter.
Yeah.
Put together.
Yeah, it's crazy. All those buttons
Yeah.
Are like, they make a lot of sense. Like, they're great. But looking at them, it's just like, what the fuck is all that?
Sure.
But C is in the middle of all the buttons, and they go in rows, and then one row is the C row. So you get C, you get just the note C.
Mm-hmm.
You get the I forget what it's fucking called, counter bass, which is really a third, but below the C, or below the root note. You get the major chord, you get the minor chord, you get the 7th chord, and you get the either diminished or augmented chord.
You know, it's kind of funny. I've never thought about this, but just now I realized this. You know what an accordion is kind of like? It's kind of like a push pad.
Whoa. Okay.
You know, like whenever you're making beats, because you have the same sort of, you can configure the stuff in the same way, and that's how you get all your notes. So not 100%, but similar.
Yeah, I mean, you just memorize where, what each thing is, and then you just have to press the buttons to the right, thing. Also, you have to like squeeze. Like, my grandpa had a death grip, like, and I know it's from his fucking accordion. But yeah, so that one's good. I learned a little mandolin to try to play with him, and he fucking loved how that sounded. So I started. I mean, mandolin is also the same as a violin, kind of. It just has frets and it has double strings. And then, so I know I can noodle around on certain things because cello is very similar to violin. But yeah, just I've always been fascinated. Like, I could play Tetris on this, and I could play Tetris on this, or Tetris on this. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Same.
Forever.
Same. I fuck with that energy really, really hard. So the one thing I'm really curious about, I think, okay, let me think of how I want to phrase this. So I'm a really big believer in the concept that the experiences that you decide to partake in life, social ones, personal ones, there's always something to learn from that experience that you can utilize in other parts of your life, no matter what it is. See, I'm a big proponent of, people, my friends, not being, a little lazy. I'm a fan of artists having good, steady jobs and making an income. And because I think it's important to learn that responsibility. It's like, if you can't wake up on time to go to work, how do you expect to go on the road? There's this those sort of those little mental things that I think develop your brain and help you become a better functioning person. Art's fun. It's cool to fuck around, but you gotta learn some personal responsibility at some point in time if you want to be successful in art. And the thing I'm really curious about, and I'm wondering what you have to say about this, is your time that you spent in school, doing marching band and things like that, and really developing those social skills and working with other people. Whereas a lot of other people that are in the punk community tend to be sometimes introverted or not so social. But now, all these years later, you're organizing events and doing all of these things. And I wonder if a lot of that kind of blossomed from those early days in school and just being used to being around a lot of people.
Maybe. I am an only child, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have very Italian, loud parents.
Okay.
So there's that. And, yeah, they were really, they wanted me, whatever I did, to be, good and powerful, kind of.
Sure.
They, also didn't want me to be lazy and put a lot of Catholic guilt on me.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but definitely the way the cookie crumbled, everything I did has kind of prepared me for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I like big groups of people. I don't know why. I like big bands too. Like I love marching bands just all across the board. I love when marching bands take to the streets.
Sure.
Kind of feel like maybe that's the thing I should have been practicing with and trying to get together, is like, more bands like that. Because I have some friends that do some protest bands in a marching band style in New York. They're in another band called Funk Rust. I forget what they're like when they go to the marches, what some of them are called. But yeah, playing shows with this band Funk Rust, it's like there's like 30 of them, and they all are wearing silver and black, and they put lights around all their instruments, and they play bars, and they're just so great. So I love, shit like that. It's just like, my biggest problem is I keep adding people to the band, and then I think like it gets so big and it's like really hard to deal with, and I think that was kind of annoying. It's just really hard to tour with so many people, and I'm working with a lot of people still, and I totally get that sometimes it's easier to tour if you just have a 3-piece, but
yeah,
it's just like the joy that I get when I'm playing with all my friends. It's like, it really, I think it does go back to orchestra,
I think
like,
that yeah, I think, the thing that makes music great is the power of collaboration and finding other people that you can like get that artistic energy with, and to recreate that live it's the fucking best. And I deal with it a lot, because with Sykes and the New Violence, I can play shows by myself, like the show that I did on the live stream, but I want the band with me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And
I'm fucking with you.
it was so funny, because I played in bands in high school, but like we never played any shows. It was all just in the garage type stuff, or just fucking around. But so when I first started actually playing shows on a stage in front of people, when I was like doing it a lot, I was just rapping by myself. Prior to that, I had like an industrial noise project where like me and my friend just, played distorted beats on a stage, and that wasn't the same thing. There wasn't we were just like, behind keyboards, so it wasn't like the experience of being with a band and motherfuckers like all around you. It was just me and one other dude. So I was just mostly rapping, and then I ended up joining my first metal band, and I was still rapping at the time. And I remember the first show that I played, like the first rap show that I played after being in the metal band, I was like, oh, this sucks. Like as soon as like, I had that moment on stage with other people, and then trying to go back to just playing shows. So it's always been really difficult for me to play shows without a band, especially if I'm playing a show with other bands. Like if I'm playing a show with all rappers, it's a little different. Like I don't feel as naked, because everybody's kind of in the same boat, and aesthetically it makes sense. Probably kind of similar to a situation maybe if you're playing a show with like, if you're playing like a solo acoustic show with a bunch of other singer-songwriters, it doesn't feel weird. But if you're like the one acoustic act on a show full of full bands, like you're kind of like, fuck. Like I just want the whole band here.
Yeah. Also genres, like these people, like I work at a bar that had a lot of metalcore, death metal, and hardcore playing a lot. Like when I first moved here, I wasn't working here, and I just lived upstairs. And the bands that were playing, like I loved certain musics, but it was different. And like the people that were come out, like they do this thing. And it's interesting because I'll be in, a rock band or whatever. And then the kind of shows we were playing for a while were with other rock bands. Like, I mean, we were just so many different things that like we were metal. We were like when Molly Rhythm started out, we were very like there's No Doubt, there's System of a like shit like that. We didn't really know how to categorize ourselves. We're getting shows. We're playing with bands that are other rock bands.
Yeah.
Sort of. And I honestly, like, after growing up doing punk stuff, like going to punk shows, in all of my teens, I was like, I something was wrong, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. And
not the right energy.
It was so weird. And then we started playing punk shows for some reason. And, we just said yes to everything. And we played a punk festival in Montreal, Pouzza Fest. And it was like we were playing with all punk bands now. But like not all of them, but a lot of them, because it's like a sort of a pop punk festival. Not like pop punk. So there's those two things. It's just really crazy. I've been playing multi-genre shit forever. I've been like shows, like we've been hosting multi-genre shows forever. There's people who are weirded out by punk. There's people who are weirded out by. There's more people weirded out by hip hop, which is really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And those people can fuck off. But like, they should just always, like, all the genres should be together. It should be like, people with common stuff. But sometimes in those rock groups, and even some metal groups, I love metal, don't get me wrong, and I'm super into it, big time. I'll talk about that at any time.
Yeah.
But like, it's not always socially aware sometimes.
Totally. Yeah.
But I mean, neither is anything. But like, it's interesting. Like and then the hardcore kids come out, and the hardcore kids come out by the hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
So the different scenes really interest me big time. Just the human dynamics. Like, oh, these people like this beat, or these people like this beat, and I'm just like, I don't like it all. Like, I just like it all. I'm doing noise right now too. I'm starting to get into that. And I've always been, following the musical rules, the circle of fifths, checking my intonation and making sure I'm playing to a metronome, and noise does none of that.
Nope.
And I fucking adore that. I just love those squeals and those like space sounds.
Sure.
It is just so fucking rad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's meditative if you listen to it right. I relate so much with the struggle of multi-genre shows. With Sykes and the New Violence, there's no box to put us in, and it's kind of intentional, just because it's just, I like all of this stuff, and this is what we're gonna do. And I find that people that see us perform usually enjoy it, because I think that we have fun, and I'm a firm believer that even if somebody doesn't like a particular style of music, if you can give them a good show, they're still going to enjoy it. Yeah. So usually if we can get a stage somewhere, we could play a good show. But on paper, trying to convince people that don't know who you are, whether it's a promoter or a band in another town, trying to be like, yo, we do like this hip hop thing, but it's also rock, but it's not rap rock or rap metal, because there's these other, it's kind of like punk, but it's not like rap punk either. It's just like, it's kind of a hodgepodge of all these things. And I think that people are just like, whatever.
I'm sorry. I gotta go down. I'm having an emergency.
Oh.
Someone's trying to break in.
Oh no. Okay.
Let's resume this later. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Now we're rolling. So
yeah. Okay.
Welcome back. Geez Louise, you're okay? Everything's...
Yeah,
well,
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. One window got broken and in boarding that one up, accidentally broke another.
Oh no.
But the group chat of the bar is alive and well, so security showed up.
Okay, yeah.
So we all hung out for a little bit, and stuff got boarded up, and we're good. Just gonna keep an eye out today, and hopefully everything's okay. But
Yeah, totally.
day at a time.
Yeah, I have no idea where we were at or what we were talking about last night, or like when everything kind of went shifted off, because I hung around for I was like, I don't really think this is a thing where I can hang around for like 15 minutes and she's gonna get back to me. So I was like, well, I'll hang out, and then it got to be about midnight, and I was like, you know what? I'll send him a message in the morning. We'll see how it. But luckily, I woke up and you had sent me a message, which I appreciated you not leaving me hanging. I'm glad to know that you were okay.
Hell yeah. It was just such a, gotta take care of this real quick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just, making sure everybody feels safe. But there's at least a good amount of us around. And, we get why people are mad. We get the whole thing. So it's just a lot of onion layers.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. It's been kind of frustrating to me to see just friends online that are looking at this whole perspective from such a narrow viewpoint. Like you said, it's there's so much that's going on, but I feel like if you're somebody that I don't know how to put this. I think unfortunately there's just a lot of people that this is new to them. They've been, in a Netflix coma for the past 5 years and have no idea what's going on. So, but I think a lot of people that have been keeping up with this well before.
Oh, son of a bitch. I'm okay. Keep going.
This is off the rails. I was going to say, I just think for... I
know where you live. My fucking roommate every day. Every day.
Jesus Christ.
He earned it because he fucking boarded up the window.
Yeah. No doubt. I was just saying, I think, for most people that have been paying attention, they understand that there's a lot more going on. But shit. So, it feels, it's kind of weird, I had made a decision earlier today that I'm not going to be putting out any podcasts or anything this week. I'm not trying to distract from any narrative, and it feels so weird in this right now, because I want to have a talk with you about life and art and music, but it's like, fuck, my brain's just not in that space now. And
right,
it takes a fucking lot to get me out of that space. All I want to do is fucking work on stuff, but definitely putting my selfish creative tendencies to the side. But here we are.
Yeah. I can relate totally. So can Griffin, because we both have been organizing stuff, and Griffin canceled his show for tonight. And I still have one Wednesday. But we'll see if if it's, who knows what's going to happen, but yeah, I'm a little scatterbrained as well. With that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. I just watched the first episode of that Epstein show just now, which was a huge
yeah.
Oh my God. It's crazy. It triggered me into like, oh my God, so much weird shit in my past. It's just weird. So yeah, just I don't know. I know that everything comes and goes, and sometimes things get real intense, and the hyper focus on that is really intense. And then eventually there's going to be a need for relief and a need for the art and the music, and that's the ultimate goal. It's just sometimes it's got to be paused a little bit to like take care of like, you know, some serious issues that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting walking that balance too. But yeah, I definitely just like had a little episode after watching that and had to be like, I need some water and I need you to put on some metal and I need you to like leave me alone for a second and like give me some air and like it snapped me out of that really scary place. So music, right? Yeah. So that is the thing, you know, that's a music really can help out with that. Yeah. So I feel like you know, it's still a necessity. You know, maybe, you know, there's ways to go about it though, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to be honest, like I am like, we released, it was scheduled. We had a new song that we released last night. And I haven't made a goddamn post about it because I don't even want to be like, oh, like I know everything's shitty right now, but here's a song. But like it was like scheduled to be released, and like, you know, I'm excited about it. I want people to hear it, but it's also like kind of heavy, and I'm not going to be like, here's a fucking hot potato, listen to my art in the middle of all this other shit that's going on. So like I get it, and I'm not mad or upset or anything at all. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. You know, I'm just kind of hanging out, you know, keeping up with my friends online. I did a couple donation things today from my phone for some people that I know, and I was just like, that's it, just like hanging out and just trying to be aware and stay on top of everything, but also just like feeling like I need that release, kind of in the same way how maybe you did after watching that fucking Epstein thing. And that thing's been haunting me because when I go and turn on the TV, it's like right there on the front page, and I'm just like, I need to watch this, but I don't want to watch this. I think I'm gonna watch the Great British Baking Show because my brain is mush, and I just want to look at cakes right now. I don't want to think about anything.
When people make cakes on Instagram, like really weird ones or whatever, it is so relaxing. Like those cake videos.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know what it is about them. Like I don't even, you know, I want to like ultimately stay away from cake.
Okay.
One day, you know, like that would be a great goal. You know, just to be like, I don't need cake anymore. Like this is for, you know, kids. It, you know, causes inflammation, but you know, that. Very idealistic. But something about watching them get made is like so weirdly fascinating to me.
I think I can watch anybody do anything that they're super passionate about, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
But like cakes are kind of easy to understand. It's a lot easier for me to watch somebody making a cake than working on like the motor of a sports car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disregard. Or like a sport. Like I don't know much about sports. I'm not an anti-sports person. It just doesn't. I don't know. I just don't understand how sports work. But I understand how cookies work. So I will gladly watch somebody make cookies. I obviously understand how cookies work. Look at me, fucking Pillsbury dough turd over here.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, I've been using the oven and putting things in pans and making them, and it's not turning out great for my pants.
Waddling through my 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find yourself being like I guess you kind of alluded to this, but like a cooking at home type person? I guess we all are. We probably all have been for the past couple months, but even pre-quarantine, were you much of a chef?
I tried. I was vegan. I was vegan for a long time.
Okay.
So I basically always cook vegan, and I like to always cook like a lot of food.
Yeah.
And I try to be as healthy as possible. I definitely eat eggs and cheese now, like way too much. And like that's the thing with me. I'm like addictive personality, so I'm just like, I had some. I guess I'm gonna have some all the time.
Yeah. I can never eat eggs without thinking about that Tribe Called Quest song where they're always talking about not eating eggs because they have too much cholesterol. I can't remember the name of the song. It's an old Tribe Called Quest song. It's just like a goofy little fun song about like eating well and taking care of your body, and the hook's about like not eating too much eggs. It's real silly, but like,
wow. Huh.
yeah, way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
It was like 1990.
Yeah. I think the cheese thing is weirder than eggs.
Sure.
Just the whole process of it, like, and even like, because I don't eat meat, but I do think that I don't want to catch an animal. I definitely don't want to milk it.
Yeah.
But I'll find an egg. Like if I find an egg, that's, like,
yeah, totally.
It's like Easter.
Yeah. I've been like I guess pretty much a pescatarian for like the past 12 years, but mostly vegetarian. It's just like, I will, you're going to pry sushi from my cold dead hands. Like, I just don't care. It's my thing. But what I always say is I feel like it would be so much harder for me to give up, or so much easier for me to give up dairy over like a lot of seafood, but that's just my personal preference. Like, I don't even like to fuck with a lot of dairy. And I say that as someone that ate macaroni and cheese for dinner, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do in these times. I'm just saying, if I had a preference, the dairy thing it makes me feel so fucking sluggish. I can't even remember the last time I drank real milk. It's just like, it fucks
real
me up.
Milk is fucking weird.
It's so gross.
That oat milk though, that Chobani, the red one, the 9 gram of fat one, that one's good.
I've never seen that one. We get the Oatly. Do you have that? Do you have that there? I
believe that's only 5 grams.
Okay. Wow. Look at me.
Oat milk. I definitely read all the ingredients to all the oat milks at ShopRite a lot.
Yeah. No. That stuff is really cool. I think that it's super awesome to see how many options there are now. There's like a whole like coconut milk based yogurt section at the grocery store now, and I'm like, what the fuck? This was like so much harder for me 10 years ago, but now it's like really fucking easy to avoid dairy in particular.
I was about to say the same thing 10 years ago, like when I was started to do this shit. I probably, if it was like it is now, like maybe I would have stayed vegan, because just like I just got tired. Maybe I don't,
it's
and
hard.
Like there were no options. Like even on the road, on the road.
I was just gonna say that it's like every single person I know that was vegetarian or vegan that plays in a band gave it up because of traveling.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's real hard. You can only eat so many potato chips.
Yeah. In the middle of America.
Yeah.
Or like a hoagie with lettuce on it.
Like, pancakes for dinner every night. And that weird shit. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. But in Canada, it's a little easier. I want to go there more. Everything they have is like some kind of with breakfast, it's like there's just so much fruit. Like, wow, I haven't even seen this much fruit in a while. Look at all these different types of beautiful fresh fruit on this plate. And then like you cross back over into the United States, and it's just like someone just fucks up your shitty Subway sandwich, and it's just like, wow, this is night and day.
We have a real problem in America with condiments. And I say this as someone that loves condiments. I love barbecue sauce. I love hot sauce. I love ketchup, mustard, pickles, relish. I fuck it all up. But you don't need to put as many condiments on your food as I think we do here. And it's like, we'll take like, at least maybe I'm saying we, I'm like speaking on behalf of everybody, but what I'll do, I'll take something that's like reasonably like good for you, right? Like, oh, I'm going to make Brussels sprouts. But then I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to fucking coat it in this like maple balsamic glaze and throw some hot sauce and shit on it. And it's like, okay, now I've just turned them into like, they're just vegetable sugar cubes at this point after what I've done to them. And it's like, okay, this a little counterproductive, but it's good.
America.
It's good.
It is good. It is good.
But sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
leave shit alone, and that's what's good about fruit, because you can't really dip fruit in anything that's too bad for you.
Right. Except that marshmallow stuff. But
Okay, yeah.
not-
I've never known anybody that's dipped fruit in marshmallows. I guess whipped cream you could do, like Cool Whip. Is that what you were talking about, Cool Whip?
Unfortunately, no. My partner is embarrassingly from the southern part of New Jersey.
Okay. Well, do they have a marshmallow thing there?
He's not here, so I can't tease him about it, but I tease him about what we grew up eating all the time.
Okay.
We kind of, we like to make fun of the South Jersey people.
Oh, okay.
Being rednecks and being like lesser than the rest of us. It's very pompous and elitist. But we make that seems like a South Jersey thing.
Sure.
The marshmallow stuff.
Jersey in general is so like what is it? What is it? Is it there's that sign whenever I'm coming? It's like, what is it? Like Trenton makes, the world takes. Doesn't it say that? I'm always like, man, these guys are so mad. It feels like, I know, like, it's probably meant to be like a proud thing. Like, we make stuff and the world uses it. But the first time I saw it, I was like, damn, they're bitter.
It is, though. I didn't necessarily look at it that way, but it totally is. I think it just has to do with the steel cables. We made steel cables too.
Yeah.
The Roeblings made steel cables in the Roebling market, like around the corner. Actually, there is there's a bunch of old buildings that they repurposed, but they made the steel cables that were in like the Golden Gate Bridge and like the elevators of New York, and like that was like the big thing. And then I think U.S. Steel bought it, but we had all these buildings. That did that stuff, and they actually still have inside of one of them this big giant thing that goes into the ground, and it's a bunch of like gears, and it's the winder. It wound all this shit, and I don't know jack shit about that stuff, but they had these big giant weird things with gears, and they just look like giant kitchen stirrers and like stuff like that. But they wound the cable, and then that shit went all over.
Yeah, we had a huge steel industry in Pittsburgh as well, and there's a bunch of old steel mills and stuff that are open. They turned one into a museum, which actually really bummed me out, because it was for the longest time just kind of abandoned, and it was like our playground. Like, you know, you go down there with a backpack full of spray paint and just try to, you know, make friends with the homeless people and just hang out and, you know, paint fucking old steel shit all day. It was a lot of fun. Those was like 15, 16, 17. But yeah, and they like renovated, cleared the whole thing out, had like some bougie ass concert festival down there, and now it's like a landmark, which I guess, I don't know. Maybe that's good for some people, preserving local history or whatever, but also my selfish teenage ass is still like, you know, I wish I could go down there with a 6-pack and just hang out.
Right.
Not anymore. Yeah. Ain't happening anymore. I don't even live on that side of town anyways. It's like I used to be able to walk there from my house, but when I lived at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because it is interesting.
There was so much wild stuff in there. That's the one thing when I think back now about that, was being a little shithead. I didn't give much of a fuck about like what the building was or what they used to do there, nor did I find anything that was still in that building interesting. You know what I mean? I was just looking for a clean space to fuck up. Just being a little shit. That's all it was. Yeah. But now it's like, I would love to just go down there and be like, what the fuck was that? I wonder what they used that for. Just
yeah.
It'd be cool.
We were talking about relaxing internet videos. Another one that we like to watch is the when they take like an old wrench or whatever, something that's rusty as hell from the 40s, and or whatever, and then they just totally refurbish it.
Oh yeah.
Like sandblaster and like all the different, you know, buffings and like all that old shit or whatever. Yeah,
there's a show, it's on Netflix, called The Repair Shop, and it's just this little shop in London where people bring their things that aren't working anymore, all their old trinkets and toys and weird mechanical things and dressers, and then they fix them up, and they have like a team of all these talented people that are good at fixing up old things, and it's super fucking wholesome and fun and informative. I like it a lot.
Hell yeah. Oh, I need that shit. I
Yeah.
need that shit. Just like wholesome,
Yeah,
chill.
wholesome. It's like it's so funny. I feel like all the media that I consume nowadays is like the most intense music you could possibly imagine and like the most wholesome television.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's it.
You have to, because like other things just like get, you can't help but avoid, and you have to see. And, so if you have the choice, pick the wholesome.
So,
fridge.
Okay. So with
all right.
Hey, with everything where you're at now in Jersey, I know we're entering the green phase this Friday.
Okay.
I mean, depending on how all this fucking protest shit goes down, hopefully we're entering a green phase. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm trying to be an optimist, but god damn it, I'm scared. Anyways, what is the state of where you're at right now in terms of these phases? Are they getting back to normal there, or are they still holding off a bit?
I think on I think it's June 22nd that they're going to open up salons.
Okay.
And something else. I forget what the other thing was. But that seems to be the next phase. I don't know when the hell bars are gonna open. I have no clue what that'll be like. I did hear that China had to shut down, like reshut some stuff down. So I'm kind of wondering what's gonna happen. Like if we're gonna have to, instead of like a straight line in one direction of opening shit up, if it's going to be like up and down and up and down. But and as someone who works in a bar, and that's like my whole thing, like we're attached to a liquor store too, and that's still open. That's been open the whole time. But like as far as bartending goes, like I don't know if I said this before, but I'm like 5'4". So like I'm sober because I'm the bartender, and everyone's like just really excited and just like spits in my eyes like by accident.
Oh no. Yeah.
But like that's the reality of the bar. Like everyone's just like like really close and like spraying it. Like I can't tell you how many times I just get spit in the eyes, and I just got to eat it and like go back go back behind the bar. I'm like, they didn't mean to. Like
I was
like really.
I was laughing. We went and got takeout from this. There's this really, really awesome vegan breakfast place here in Pittsburgh. Reed and Co. Shout outs to any of my Pittsburgh friends. We went down there and grabbed breakfast. These fucking crazy carrot lox and capers bagels with fucking cashew cream cheese on. They're so fucking good. But anyways.
Oh my God.
Somebody there's like a cafe a couple doors down, and like they were outside, and instead of they had like the face mask thing on, but they also had like one of those like big plastic shields like over their face. And I was like, that might be like a good thing for the bar, maybe.
That actually, like the sneeze thing for the pizza, but for your face.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea, actually. Just even astronaut helmets, but just lighter, just lightweight astronaut helmets. In some, or like a bubble.
Yo, convert the bar to a space theme, and then it all just works.
It's funny you say that, because like we kind of already started like that. I should show you one of the walls down there. It's just space wall.
Great minds. That's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah! Cheers. We are painting rainbows, on things, things like that.
Totally.
It's so interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I know, like, there's like some, I don't know about bars here, but I did see some friends of mine that run a brewery here. I guess they're going to be able to open their tap room this weekend with like a limited capacity thing. And I'm like, well, that's, the fucking cousin of a bar. It's pretty much it's people in a room exchanging American money for alcohol that they drink in the same room. It's a bar. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be completely honest, at least where I'm at, like, I feel pretty safe. I feel like we did a pretty good job around here. But I know, like, touring and going out of town is going to be a completely different story, and also you just never know what other people were doing, I've kind of been in my own little bubble, so of course I feel safe because I'm in my controlled zone. So I haven't really gone out too far. And again, I think I'm maybe being a little optimistic. I would just like to think that people took this shit seriously enough to be a little mindful moving forward.
Yeah. I hope so. It just made me think that, like, I made a joke a while ago, like, when the pandemic hit, I was like, this is the best it's going to be for the rest of our lives. Like, it's just going to get worse from here.
Sure.
And that just like popped back in my head.
Oh no.
Like, why did I say that? But I'm not superstitious, so.
Yeah, no, I think I think even if, like, things are always changing, but it's always changing at a rate where we may not notice it so much because it's happening slower. We just had a really fast change, and I think that we can adjust. That's how we've managed to stay alive as a human race for as long as we have. We're pretty good at adjusting. So I think we'll be able to figure it out. I mean, I don't need to I don't know. I don't need to be in a bar surrounded by people that I don't want to be around to have a good quality of life. But there are people that need that bar to be filled with people they don't want to be around to make a quality life for themselves, people that run bars and things like that. So, I need to keep that in mind, just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it's like, other people need their livelihoods as well. And I hope everybody can get back to it.
Yeah, in a way I do, but in a way I'm with you, and in another way I'm like, I never want to fucking, what can I get you? What can I get you? Like this? You want it like this? Was that good? Like, I don't know if I want to, do that anymore.
It's exhausting. I've never worked in a bar, but I can only imagine how exhausting it is. I know hard work when I see it, and I've seen plenty. I've never seen you work. Obviously, I haven't been to your bar, but I know I have a good feeling that that you are probably a hard worker, and people that's not an easy job. It's really, really fucking not. It makes me so mad when people like disrespect or look down on people that work in like the bar industry or the restaurant industry. I'm just like, you're fucking crazy. That's hard work for sometimes not a whole lot as well.
Yeah. Depending. Yeah. I mean,
that's why I said sometimes. Sometimes you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Honestly, it sucks when it's dead because you don't make money, but it's also just like boring. But like,
sure.
There's such an art form to like the twirls that you have to do to like get away from, like, to not collide with someone. Mm-hmm. And like, just like the way you pour, like after you've done it like 1,000 times, and like the people and like the conversations, like, it's really fun,
I'm
it's
sure.
so fun.
Yeah.
And some people really feed off that, and I love it, and I love all the people of this town, and like
it's
people crack me the fuck up. I love it.
Everything everything's about environment.
At the same time, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I'm talking to you. I'm not you go.
No, I just at the same time, it's sometimes you really got to eat it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever way. Or you have to like discipline someone, or someone says something stupid and you have to check them, or there's so much exhausting things that have, and can happen. It is a hullabaloo. I don't know the history on that word, so I don't know if that's like a bad word or something, but it's sometimes I have to think about that because you never know. But like it's just it's just so many things, so much energy going in every different direction. It's just people, just people, and sociology like fascinates me. So that element I do love and appreciate. But yeah, I definitely put on a few pounds, not doing the ballerina moves. I was very fast paced all the time, and now I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to fucking do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aging. It's a remarkable thing.
That is it.
Yeah, it is really, really a special thing. Well, I believe that we could probably wrap this up soon. I think we had like a little over a half hour yesterday, and now we have a little over a half hour today, which makes about an hour. So I think that's plenty.
Yeah.
I would gladly sit here and bullshit with you for a while, but I don't know how often or how much longer other people want to hang out with us on the internet. So I would say we should probably wrap it. But before we do, why don't you give any shout outs to anything that you would like to promote or tell the people about, or anything you would just like to say to your fellow humans?
Well, especially now, Black Lives Matter and, justice for George Floyd and everybody else that was senselessly killed by the oppressive police force. Absolutely. And, people who are not down with that need to really figure their fucking shit out. So many shout outs to so many wonderful people, too. Where do I even start? Man, I don't even know where to start. I guess all the people of the earth that want to better themselves. Wow, I'm gonna feel really bad after this, and I'm like,
it's okay.
Fuck.
It's better to say nothing than say like two people and then everything else is toast. So at least everyone in solidarity can feel neglected by you in this very temporary moment.
Exactly. Everybody trying to pick up the pieces. I feel like everybody knows, like, within themselves if they're trying to do something like that. And
yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't know. Yeah.
Anything you want to promote? You're doing your Wednesday gigs.
Oh yeah, Wednesday on the International Musicians of Quarantine Origins Guild. We'll be having a show on Wednesday. 12 artists that are just compiled from friends and friends of friends. And yeah, we should talk about metal sometime.
Yeah, we definitely should. I think that it would be a lot of fun for my metal band to jump on. You do these on Wednesdays. We practice on Wednesdays anyways. So it would be very easy for me to just put the phone in the corner of the room and yell at it for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really pumped. I'm thinking that's going to be June 10th, if that's okay with you.
I can make a note. That would be next week?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, I could make a note on that. I could talk with the gang on Wednesday when I see them and be like, yo, we're doing this thing next week. And they'll be like, okay.
Yeah. Perfect. That sounds great. Yeah, I could, because we got to hang out and talk or whatever sometime on your favorite metal bands and my favorite metal bands, and then all that stuff in between. That's one of my favorite conversations. I feel like I don't get to have that one enough.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do that again sometime. 100%.
Hell yeah.
It was super nice getting to talk with you and getting to get some perspective on someone in another state that I know that is, you know, in a similar mindset, dealing with a lot of the same shit that we're dealing with here. And so good timing, but also unfortunate timing for other things, because it'd be great if none of it was happening at all. That'd be fucking fantastic, but it needed to. So in one way or another, it really had to. So yeah. With all that being said, I'm gonna do my outro, and then we will wrap up the recording. Okay. I forgot how do I do this? Oh yeah, I push this button, the music happens. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for listening. One more time, Nikki Nailbomb, thank you so much for being here. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat 2020. Woo! Woo! Thanks for listening. And that's it. Fade this out. And that's it. That's a podcast.
Awesome.
You're
really good at this.
Oh, thank you.
That rules. Like one day.